Why are we using Java language? And then we will come to know like the different types of reporting, like using TestNG, and little basics of Jenkins and Cucumber, which is a BDD language. Okay, so why are we using Cucumber, which is a behavior driven framework? So let us go for the testing overview basically. So why are we going for testing? Why do we first, why everyone needs testing? Why do we need an automation testing? So why we need is like we need to evaluate what is being developed by the developers. So when an application comes in, so whenever someone gets a new project, so we are thrown a lot of requirements on our face, like you need to develop this, you need to give me this product. So we don't know anything about that. We have zero knowledge on it. So what we will do, we have to go through the requirements and come up with a certain set of plan, and the developer starts developing, and then as a tester we have to test. So we have to validate like what is being given to him, are we testing properly, and the product which is released is up to mark. So when a product goes to a market, it should be defect free, bug free. So in real time also you see, right, in Amazon, in Flipkart, so you'll get a lot of offers. So all these offers, something they will do some changes in the site. So some new icon will come, some 10% discount will come. You'll see the credit card offers this much. So all these are what, these are developments done. And as a tester, we have to test them. We have to see that this new development, new things which we are adding did not impact the existing thing. If it is an existing application, if it is a new application development, so then we have to see from scratch, even the UI, this text box is here or not, these buttons are working or not, so how it is going. So we need to check on those terms. So we have to ensure whatever requirement is given, that is being fulfilled and everything is working properly. At one point, even like we have this beta versions, alpha versions which are released in the market, so they are again for the people, like for the users, to see that are there any bugs or anything. You see this also, like Google also, like it will put like I'll give you so much money if you get any bug from our site or our application, and they even like give so much of money. So why? Because testing plays a very vital role in any development. So in any development, testing is very important. So next is coming to manual and automation. So where does manual automation come into picture, and where does automation comes into picture? So manual automation, so any application when we are developing, so we need manual testers. And the thought process of a manual tester is very different compared to an automation tester or a developer. Generally, a developer will think of happy path. Like if I click this, if this is coming, that's enough for him. Like if this flow is working, he's very happy, he's done with his development. But as a manual tester has to understand the application. He has to know the pros and cons. He has to think of corner cases. He has to write a lot of test cases and scenarios and ensure everything is working. Once manual testing is completed, then only will come for automation. So automation, like we are not just going and starting automation once the application is coming in. So to start automation, again, we have certain criterias, like everything should be working properly. You should have a stable environment. You should have certain set of test cases which we are running n number of times. Who is that? Okay. So what we have to do is we have to do the analysis of the scenarios in the test cases before going for automation. Are we going to automate it? How much times I have to rerun that? How many types of data I'm using? So here again, when you go for automation, you have to do the analysis that this application is being supported by the language I have taken, the tool I have taken. Is it supporting or not? So that is another analysis. So every project does a POC there again, a POC to see that this application is supported by this tool. So basically, what does automation tools do? They help us in test creation, testing, setting up test procedures, execution, comparison, and reporting. Most important thing is the reporting part. So we use a lot of automation to see that the reporting is done properly. And one more thing is, in automation plays a very important role in tested data creation also. Even a manual tester needs test data, even an automation tester needs a test data. So for example, we say like we are testing one application, it's a healthcare application. In that, like we have different age groups, different ailments, different insurances, so we need different data to test that combinations, like maybe 5 to 10 years, 10 to 15 years, 15 to 20, so we need that set of data. So I can't sit and go and create each and every data, it is really very much time taking. So at points like this, automation comes into picture. So we can create some utilities wherein like we just create it. When once we click, we'll get lot of test data, so we'll get 50 combinations, 100 combinations. So how many combinations we give, we get so much of data, so we can start using them. It could be through manual execution, or else I can take it and keep it in an Excel and use in my automation scripts. Okay, now coming to Selenium, why everyone goes for Selenium? Because first and foremost, it is an open source. Other tools are like we have to pay them, like UFT and Catalan and UiPath. These things are like we have to pay and then we have to buy that. But here Selenium is what, it's an open source, so we can go, we can download, we can add lot of things and we can start using that. And we can use Selenium in different languages also, Java, C Sharp, PHP, Perl, Python, Ruby. But generally, a manual tester will go for Java because that is easy to use. I have one person in this who knows ASP.NET, right? So you can try with C Sharp instead of Java. It's your choice. Like if you're very good at C Sharp, you can try with C Sharp and Selenium. If not, Java is like very comfortable. We will get all the methods there. We know the IntelliSense helping us, and then when we code, like we get all the methods. Only thing is we should know what to use where and when. If we know these things and if we know 20% Java, we are good to go with Selenium, with Java as the coding language. And now coming to Selenium, there are a lot of uses with that, so we can run on different browsers. So it's a cross browser testing, so I can run the same script on Chrome, I can run the same script on Mozilla, I can run the same script on Internet Explorer, Safari, anywhere. And then we can run the scripts on different operating systems as well, like Linux, Windows, Solaris. And we can run parallel execution. Parallel execution means if I have 10 test cases, I can split that, 3 you run here, 3 you run here, 3 you run here. Means at once I can run all of them, and then the time of execution is reduced. And then we have 4 components. Components in the sense I can say 4 versions as well. So first, initially when Selenium started, we had Selenium IDE. So we could record and play it. And then we had Selenium remote control, wherein RC, wherein few features were added more. And then we got Selenium WebDriver, and then we had Selenium Grid. So basically what is that? So like we have different versions in our like mobile, say iOS 6, iOS 7, iOS 8. Similarly, the first version of Selenium was Selenium IDE. Then we had RC and WebDriver. Now what we did was like we took all the properties from RC and WebDriver and we created a something new, which is a Selenium WebDriver with all the improved and the combinations. And we have Selenium Grid, in which where we can run on different types of what you say machines and different types of browsers at once. We create different nodes and execute them ourselves. Okay, now going to the next slide. So any questions till now? Do you have any doubts till here? Anyone has any questions? Okay, no questions, no doubts. Okay, fine. So let me go for the Selenium architecture, WebDriver architecture. So what is happening here? So basically we have a binding language. It could be Java, Ruby, C Sharp, Python, JavaScript. So we have to bind this language with what we want to execute. Say suppose we are using Eclipse. Eclipse is an IDE. So for Selenium, I can use Eclipse IDE, I can use IntelliJ, NetBeans, like we have different IDEs which we can use. In that IDE, I can add the language which I want. So I can use Java or C Sharp or Python, anything. Inside that IDE, I added this specific language. And then my IDE is ready. My Eclipse is ready. Now I want this Eclipse to execute the scripts. So there should be a link between the browser and the IDE. So what is that? That are the servers, standalone servers, and we have different drivers. Okay, so the drivers play a very vital role in running our scripts on the browser. So here we have Chrome driver for Chrome browser and Firefox driver for Firefox, Safari for Safari browser, Opera for Opera browser, Edge driver for Edge browser. Okay, so what does these drivers do? So these drivers as an interface, a mediator, I can say, between the browser and our code, and then it will tell like this is the driver on which you have to run your scripts. So we have a binding between the language and the drivers, which is the JSON wire protocol, which will see that to which driver our code is getting binded and which browser it has to run. And this driver and browser, it happens to the HTTP server. So when we start automating, we have few things, few configurations which needs to be done, which are mandatory. Like say suppose like when anyone is cooking anything, you have a vessel. Inside that you put all the vegetables, all you put salt, you put mirchi, you put haldi, all the things. So similarly, here also ID is our central thing. An Eclipse, we are using Eclipse ID. So inside that Eclipse, we are adding Java, JRE, JDK, and then we are adding different drivers on which driver, like on which browser you want to run your scripts. Then you are adding again Selenium standalone servers. So that is the JSON wire protocol binding, the binding between the browsers, drivers, and the Eclipse IDE. So in that way, what you are doing, and you can add a lot of add-ons more like TestNG, Maven, and if you want to add a POM page object model, then if you take screenshots, you have different jars. If you are working on Excel, you need Apache POI. So in that way, you are adding lot of things, lot of jar files basically. You import them into Eclipse to see that it is interacting to the instructions you are giving and it is working as expected. So basically IDE, which is Eclipse, it will ensure that everything is running properly by adding lot of jar files, lot of interfaces so that we can execute on it, okay, using Eclipse. Same thing, if instead of Eclipse, if I'm using IntelliJ, I have to do the same thing. I have to add all these configurations, all these interfaces to IntelliJ. Okay, let me stop for 1 minute and ask like anyone is having any questions or doubts still here?
Yeah, actually, with the IE browser, we are converting with the Edge browser.
Yes, we have
Oh,
Internet Explorer drivers also.
okay, okay, fine. You are
And
giving many.
yeah, to add on this, if I'm automating mobiles, so I will have iOS driver, I have Android driver to interact with the mobiles. Okay,
Yeah.
let me go for next. Next is Java. So what is Java basically? So we have lot of languages, but everyone will try to learn Java because it is easy to learn and it is an object oriented programming. So whatever we are doing in Java, whatever instructions we are doing, executions we are doing, we are using an object there. So we use an object and we execute using that object. So on the object, we perform a lot of actions and we do lot of things on that executions and give instructions to the objects, and in that way everything is carried in the form of an object. Now JDK, Java Developer Kit, so it has JRE and JDK. These are the compiler tools which we need for Java development. And JRE, Java runtime environment. So that is another software layer that runs on the computer's operating system, providing the services specific to Java. So these are very important again. Then JVM, Java Virtual Machine. It interprets compiled Java code for the computer processor so that it can perform the Java instructions. And this compiler will convert all the bytecode into .java, .class files. Now, when you are installing Eclipse in your system, so once you download Eclipse, it could be like we have a lot of versions there again. Oxygen, Neon, Mars, and then latest one is 2020, 2029. So similarly, like we have iOS 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In Eclipse also we have alphabetically Neon, Oxygen, Mars, NOP, Photon, M for Mars. So NOP, MNOP. In that way, alphabetically, they are releasing a lot of versions. So when you are downloading, download the latest version. And when you download that, you need Java here. So you need to download the Java GRE and JDK. And you have to configure the environment variables on your system. So in your personal system, go to the computer, like see, go to the environment variables and then create their Java home and add the path of this JRE and JDK, and then there you are, like you will be able to open your Eclipse with Java. If you do not do the setup of environment variables, you will not be able to open your Eclipse itself to write or do the coding. Now, installations and download links. So you can go to the oracle.com downloads and then you can download from there the JDK, and Eclipse you can download from Eclipse org, and JDK again you have another Java home, and then you can install Maven also. So Maven again, like if it's the older version, you can go to Eclipse Market and install it. If it is new version, you can download it and use it. Okay, now coming to the Eclipse, let me share my screen. Let me know once you're able to see my Eclipse. Are you able to see my Eclipse, everyone? Yes, no, no response.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So when we create this, when we are opening this Eclipse, it will be blank. So I have to create this folder here, folder structure. When I go here, new Java project, demo 20. Okay, I have created one folder. So inside this, see the like I have a JRE system library. It automatically took all this, and I have a source file. Now, as I told you, to Eclipse, I can add lot of things. So two ways. One thing is I'll go to help. I'll go to Eclipse Marketplace and install from here the TestNG, Maven, or any other add-ons which I want to add. So this is one way of adding the add-ons, Eclipse Marketplace. Okay, and maybe N. If it is not here, you can download it directly in your system. And then these are different types of Maven. It's not that because it's the latest one. Or you can go here, help, install new software, give the URL here, and click on next and finish. In that way you can install. So there are, and there is third way also, wherein you can download it on your system. Go to this project, right click here, go to the build path, configure the build path, and here you'll be adding the libraries or export them, source, whatever you want to add here will be adding here. Okay, so I can add external class, add libraries. So here again, see TestNG, Maven, I can add them, or add external jars. So here I can go and add something like a Selenium standalone. See, Selenium standalone server. So I can download that and add it. So in that way, I have to set up my project. Once I create this, it's not like I go directly and start coding here. I have to add all those. Only thing you can do here is I can create one class here. This SRC is there, right? Inside this SRC, I'll go to class, and inside that I can create a package. Let me say login. Login page is a package which I have created. Sorry, it took the demo. Let me delete. I'm creating a package inside this. Name is login page inside the source. So inside this login page, this is one module I can say. When you're automating page wise, so once you get into any browser, you log in, right? So that is one scenario. Inside that, I'll create a class. So this class is test case 1. Okay, so inside this, I'll start writing the test case 1, and then I will write another test case. I'll create another class. So each test case, it's like depending upon our requirement. Test case 2. So all the test cases which are manually written, I start automating inside this. So these all belong to login page. So I can write 10, 20 test cases or n number of test cases. It's up to me how I want to create that. One more thing is this is login page, right? After that, like Amazon, for example, Amazon, once you log in, you have login page. After that, what you can see the products, right? Different types of products. Let me see mobiles. So this is mobiles package. So inside this mobile package, I'll create another test cases. I'll start writing test cases. Like I'll create one for iOS, and one more test case I'll create for Android. So different types of mobiles, I'll start creating the test cases. So basically what are we doing? We are creating one structure. So we created a project demo October 20. Inside that I created one package, which is a login page. I created another package, which is mobiles. Inside this package, I wrote 2 test cases. Inside the mobiles package, I wrote 2 test cases. So in real time, we will have a lot of test cases inside this, inside that. And the packages also, I can have n number of packages. It doesn't have this much count as that much count. So it depends upon how many packages you want to create inside this and how many test cases you want to write inside this. So this is basically a normal project. Now, if I want to create a Maven project, so let me see if I'm able to create here. So file, new project, Maven project. So Maven is an add-on to our existing projects wherein we can create all the builder dependencies here. org dot apache dot maven. Okay, so in this we have to take the quick start and then next. So let me create here demo October 20. So same name I want to give here, finish. So what did I do when I created this a demo October 20? You can see the difference here. See the structure here. I got source main Java. I got source test Java. So inside this, the packages are already created with the name I have given. Okay. And then I have the Maven dependencies added by itself. I have JRE system libraries and source and target. So here I have the pom.xml file. So this is very important for Maven. So what does it do? This pom.xml file will handle all the builder dependencies which are there in our project. So this is a Maven project. See at this structure. So in the structure is different. And there when we created the Java project, the structure was different. So again, this is up to the project you are working. It can have a Java project that way, or it can have a Maven project this way. So it's purely on the requirement basis. But safe side, we should know how to create this, how to create that, how to use this and that as well. So in Maven, we have pom.xml file. In pom.xml file, what we will have the group ID, artifacts, the version, and basically we have the dependencies. So it is mainly to handle the dependencies. So what it will do, so if suppose there is some latest version, instead of 4.1.1 we have got some version 4.1.4.12. So what it will do, if I'll change here, this will update itself from the net itself. So it will go to the dependencies browser of Maven. It will go there and it will update itself, and automatically it will build by itself, and it will see that there are no failures in the project is up to date, and all the build dependencies are handled here. So in that way it will ensure that our project is up to date and we are able to create a Maven project. So why do we use this? Basically Maven, why we use is like we have continuous integration tools, right? Like Jenkins, TeamCity. So to integrate with that, we need some plugin. So that is where we have this Maven also, which comes under picture and which will ensure that we are able to integrate it with the continuous integration tools. And apart from that, it will handle all the build dependencies. Okay. So now let us go back. Any questions here? Any questions? No one has any questions? Okay. No questions? Okay. Let me go for TestNG now. So what is TestNG basically? So TestNG is a reporting structure, I can say, or a process of implementations which we do, or I can say it's a framework which we are using in Selenium. So in Selenium, we do not have a proper reporting structure. So when we don't have a proper reporting structure, so that is where TestNG comes into picture. So we use TestNG to ensure we have the proper reporting there. So what are the different features? So basically with TestNG, the tester's life has become happy. So we know like, oh, we can run through the sequence. We know what to use where, how to use the things, and all these things like we'll be able to know here in TestNG. Now coming here, what are the features of TestNG? So there are a lot of features. So everyone might have heard JUnit in Java. So developers use JUnit and Java for unit testing. So what we did was like we got all the latest features, what all we can use in TestNG, and we have added here. So here what we did was we took all nice features of JUnit and created one test new generation feature, which is again an import, again a configuration jar file, which we are going to add. So when we added, so we have different features, before and after annotation, dependent methods, dependent groups, data driven testing, and better reporting, XML based test configuration, grouping, parameterization of tests, multi-thread execution, and open API. So what this will do is, in this like we can create different types of annotations, like say at the rate before test, at the rate after test, and at the rate before method, after method, before suit, after suit. So what does it do? So basically at the rate is the annotation which we are using here. So what is the use of that? It is for the reusability of the code which we are using. Say suppose we have let me go here. So we are having a lot of reusability. So what we do is, see here, we have at the rate before test, at the rate after test, and then we can use data provider wherein we use the test data. Again, this is the XML formatting which we use, XML data which we are using here in data providers. In real time, like in real time and in every project, you have to log in every time before you execute a test case. So when you log in before every test case, what are you going to do? Every time you just can't go and write login method, click driver dot, click on login, go to home page, all these things. So you can't write each and every time. So we are using it. So we are what we are doing is we are writing in the starting itself before execution of that method at the rate before method. So we are giving that login at the rate before any method is executed, you have to log in. And in the end, you are giving at the rate after method driver.quit, means we are closing the browser. So after we complete the execution, we are closing the driver. So both things we are reusing. If I have 20 test cases, for all the 20 test cases, what I'm doing, I'll give at the rate before test, or at the rate before method, and at the rate after method. So before the method starts, it has to log in, and after the method ends, it has to close the browser. So in that way, what I'm doing, I am reusing that. I'm reusing whatever is there in the code by using TestNG. Okay, so this is one way of using. And then we have, let me take another example. Hope I have something to show inside this. Okay, it's not there. Let me go here. So these are different types of annotations again. So what we are using in TestNG, I can give priority at the rate test, priority 1, 2, 3. And then I can use this before method. So I want to execute that before this test, before method, and after method, I want to execute that. So in that way, what I'm doing, I'm executing these steps before method and after method. Example, before every method in real time, I want to log in, and after every method is executed, I want to close the browser and get out of that. Okay, so in this way we are using TestNG. One more thing is it has a good feature of reporting. So reporting is very important here. So we have emailable reports, means HTML reports. Let me open this. Open with web browser. So we have a lot of options here. So when I open this, I have this thing. I'll get like how many are passed, how many are failed, how many are like executed or skipped, time, how much time it took. So all this reporting is done using TestNG. So in TestNG, we can use it. Suppose if I run this, I want to run this TestNG, proceed. So when I run this, I get the results in the console also. So I get results in console. See here, results running class annotations. Annotations is the main concept in TestNG. So what are we doing here? See, when I get the results, I get this is before test. So what did I execute? Before test, before method, then after test. So before like execution of every test, we did a before method and after method. Test 2, test 3. So all the things like before execution, we ran before test and before after test. So this is just for like you to understand like what is the importance of annotations, like why are we using that. Means there is a lot of reusability. That is the only reason like we are using that. And for reporting, so reporting, as I showed you one, let me show you another type of reporting. So this is another type of reporting which we can do using TestNG. See here, one test, zero groups, times, report output, three methods passed and three methods failed. So this is a TestNG process wherein we have different types of annotations there which we can reuse, and we have a proper reporting structure which is not there in Selenium. That is the reason we add this TestNG configurations or jars or files to see that we have a proper reporting structure and proper sequencing to be basically like. So if anyone asks you like what is the framework you have worked on, so you can say like I have worked on TestNG framework. Okay, any doubts here till now? Let me pause for a minute.
Madam,
Yes.
madam, after execution, what are the files it will be generated, madam? I mean, XML file, is it generated one any notepad file?
Yeah, so see, I showed you, right? Where did see this test output file is there, no? This will not be there till you execute. Once you execute this test output
I
file,
mean,
this
log file
entire
also.
file is generated. Hmm? Can you please come again?
Yeah, I mean, TestNG will be generate log file, and wherever the step got failed, so if we click on that link, it will be navigated to any screenshot. I mean, whenever the test case failed, madam, so is it generated any screenshot? It will be captured, madam, automatically.
So TestNG will not do that. So TestNG, we will get only the report. For capturing the screenshots, we have a different, what you say, concept, imports, like screenshot capture. So if you add that here in the imports, say suppose, see, I have the screenshot also. Inside this, if I add this import, take screenshot. So this one is there, no? Takes screenshot. If I import this, then I will get the screenshot. If I just add TestNG, I will not get any screenshots. So I have to add this take screenshot import, this jar file, this interface I can see, and then when I run that and give the location of the file where you want the screenshots to be saved, at that place the screenshots will be saved. Okay, so TestNG is not for taking screenshots. This is basically for reporting and proper structuring. If you want to add screenshots, we will add that import and then we can take the screenshots and save it. Okay, so that is a different process. We can integrate that again with the executions what we are doing.
Okay. For log file also, the TestNG will be generated, or again we have to write some, we have to import some
No,
classes
log
for
file
that.
it will generate. No, log file it will generate by itself. So we have
Okay.
to refresh. So we have to refresh the project. Then only we will get this test output file. All these files will be generated. You install on your system and just create one and just run it and refresh it. So these all files are created automatically. How many failed, how many escaped, all these things. Okay, so this will be generated by itself. No need to add any new things. So existing imports of TestNG will work for this reporting, HTML reporting, emailable reporting, indexing, and then this also.
Okay,
Okay,
madam. Yeah.
right.
Thank you.
Now let us go back to this. Now, coming to behavior driven framework, which is Cucumber. So why everyone goes for BDD framework now? So in Selenium, like you have seen, right, there is no proper reporting structure. So we want some proper reporting structure. So that reporting structure Cucumber provides us. Cucumber provides us a proper reporting structure. So what we do there? So in the there is no need for us to add any test NGs or reporting things to that. So that is where like we need a proper reporting, which is done, which is inbuilt there. So here, what is a behavior driven framework? So if someone is very new, you don't know anything like what is there in the code. So by looking at the code itself in Cucumber, we can know like, okay, these are the steps which we are going to do. So this is the behavior of the application and how, like, what are the next steps. So we are able to basically drive by ourselves. There is no need for anyone us to help. But to come to this level, like for knowing Cucumber, the development, we should know the basics of Java, writing methods. Once you are thorough with Selenium WebDriver and TestNG, this becomes very easy. So to know Cucumber also, we should know the Selenium basic concepts, the Java language, and all like whatever I have told you till now, you should know all those things to come here, because it is nothing something different. It is something like whatever we are doing in Selenium with Java methods and all the things. So here we explore like we define the steps here. So how are we defining? So we have Jenkins language in Cucumber, wherein we can use where, when, then. So using that Jenkins language, we will be able to know that. So what is that? What is the next step which is going to happen? when this clicks on that, what is the next step? So in that way we have Jenkins language. So Cucumber is basically like you can explain, like if anyone asks you, you can say in Cucumber we have feature files, step definition files, runner class. So these three play a major role. Runner class is used for execution, running our scripts. And then in step definitions we are writing the definitions, like steps, like methods and everything. The feature file consists of all the details of the feature. So everything we are mapping, the step definitions, the feature files, and runner class, these three things are mapped. And here we are using Jenkins language. So what is that? Like where, when, then, given. So you can write the given a login page, when you click on username, when you enter password, then click on login. So like this, you just write it in a normal language. It looks like a normal language, but the method you are writing in the backside, like say when you click on login, this click on login will have the same method which we are writing in Java. So you need an X path for that, you need a logic for that, and you need all the like things which we require for execution. So it is almost just similar to Selenium backend, like Selenium Java, which we are using. Only thing is we have the structure difference and few things added so that we get a proper reporting structure again. So there is no need for us to add any reporting jars or interfaces for Cucumber. So you can directly get the report. So in Cucumber we get a lot of reports like graphical, like you can create pie charts, you can have step to step. So you can configure the way you want in Cucumber. Okay, so let me go for next thing, which is the CI/CD Jenkins. So why are we using Jenkins? So this is one very important thing. Say suppose like we are 10 people, so we are writing our automation scripts on our local, and then when we want to execute, everyone is executing on their local. So if I have code of all the 10 people, I have to execute myself, and only I have the permission to publish the report. So if it is CI/CD Jenkins, so every code will be pushed there through, like we have a version controlling in the middle between Eclipse and Jenkins. We have a version controlling. It could be Git or it could be something else. So we are keeping our code there, and that is integrated with Jenkins, and we are executing our scripts in Jenkins, which is a server. So anyone from anywhere can pull the reports from Jenkins. So from here, India, or from US or Australia, like we have different teams sitting at different places. So anyone can pull the reports from there, the regression test cases. If there are 1,000 test cases wherein the regression has happened, like where the test cases are executed, so we pull the report like directly anywhere, from anywhere, whoever has access can pull those reports and see that. So basically what is Jenkins is it's a continuous integration tool which we are using for managing our work, managing our scripts, which is like updated in the server. And there are different ways again. See, through version controlling system and Git, which is Git, build is done by Maven, and then continuous testing using Selenium, configuration management by Puppet. So this Puppet, Ansible, and I use these come under DevOps again. Then continuous deployment using Ansible, continuous monitoring using this. Okay. So what is the basic? Why do we use this? Is to ensure that our application is not breaking, everything is working properly. If you want to upgrade anything, we do upgrade. If you want to do any changes, we do. One more thing is, see, developers keep on developing code and they keep on pushing. So when they push, what happens is the existing code, it will like break. Whatever is there, it may break. For example, Amazon is there, it will give 5% discount. That 5% discount code the developer has pushed into the existing Amazon web application. So when he pushed that code, something may happen to the existing application. So to see such things are like caught when the code itself is pushed by the developer, we have this continuous deployment and testing. So once the developer pushes his code, that will hit Jenkins, where the build happens, his build, and on that build, whatever automation he have done, that is triggered and that will run. And there and then itself, the developer will know, okay, so I have, because of my code fix, so many defects have come in, or because of my code push something has happened to the existing application. So this is all like automatically continuously we are integrating and getting to the root causes and like avoiding rework, and everything is streamlined. So it's a process actually how we are going to work. So this will come under entire DevOps process, but still as QA we should know this, at least bare minimums, not the complete things, but definitely we should know the basics of this. Okay, so any doubts still here, any questions you have, you can ask me. If there are no questions, then I can wind up the session for today.
Madam,
Yes.
are you cover Java concepts? I mean, which we are using in Selenium? I mean,
Tomorrow I will cover that. So in one day, like it's only one
not
hour, right?
just I have doubt. Are you cover Java concepts as well, madam?
Yes, yes, all the Java concepts. So it is like the OOPS concepts, the abstraction, encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance, collections, everything we will cover in the training. Okay, so you should have 20% of Java knowledge.
Okay,
So
madam. Because
without that, yeah. So everything we'll cover from scratch. How to write for loops, strings, stub strings, everything we will cover in the training. So basically,
okay, madam.
Selenium means, as I told you, it is a combination of Java, TestNG, interfaces, and then Maven, and then continuous integration also will be covered in the entire course. So all these things will be covered, and even Cucumber will be covered. But the thing is, initially we will start with Java, and once we are good with Java concepts, then we can jump into Selenium concepts. Okay, so today is like the first class, something like a demo, I can say. That's why I have covered each and every thing little, not completely, but in bits and pieces, so that you will get a clear picture of what it is, what's the down the lane, what is the path. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, then I think it's time. So let me wind up. Thank you everyone for joining and have a good day. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you.